Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? So it's Thursday. It's more than likely the last night of streaming this week, but I am excited. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We've been playing a lot of Arena. We're going to swap gears and we're going to play some Modern tonight. We're going to play like my favorite Modern deck. We are playing Boros Burn tonight, and it's pretty stock for what's going around right now. What a lot of people have been playing. I mean, it looks pretty conventional. Like it's a little different playing three Searing Blazes, three Lightning Helixes, and three Skullcracks. The 19 lands I'm used to, but the way that they have the 3/3/3, because I'm used to playing four Helix, four Searing Blaze, and one Skullcrack, but I'm interested to try it this way tonight. It looks interesting. And our sideboard is also pretty standard. We got three Path, two Rest in Peace, three Core Firewalker, a Smash of Smithereens, a Skullcrack, a Rolling Vortex, which I think is interesting, the four Steering Blades in the side, and then a Deflecting Palm. So this is I got this list from he's on YouTube. Um, his name is GG for Goblin Guide. If you like burn content, you should check him out. He's really good. And he was playing a one of Searing Blood, but I decided to play the extra Searing Blaze just in case. So we're just going to go ahead and hop into a Modern League here really quick and see what we can get done. I'm interested to play it. I haven't played Modern Burn in a while, so I'm hoping that since we're playing Modern, the games will be kind of quick tonight. Now there's no way to know that, but I'm hoping we find matches quicker tonight. I've learned that that's generally my problem when I'm playing. Oh, we still got the 2-1 up there, don't we? We'll have to start that over. Well, I guess not really start it over. There's not really a good place to put that when I'm playing Moto, I've learned. But hi and good luck, opponent. And we will go first. The 3 Sunbait Canyon seems a little questionable, but this hand's very good. Hopefully our opponent's not playing like Burn or something super aggressive to punish us for the 3 Sunbait Canyons in our hand. Chip in for 1. Mishra's Bauble, okay. Normally when I see Mishra's Bauble, they're playing Lyris. So I'm interested that they're playing that and not. It probably means they're playing Grixis Shadow if I had to guess. Lava Spike our opponent. Fatal Push here. Yep. We're going to hold up our Bolt in case they try to play a Shadow or something like that. Thanks for getting me ice cream, baby. You guys are back fast. That or I pooped longer than I thought. Either way. 6 in one hand. Yeah, probably. They're definitely going to be stale. So our opponent's playing Shadow. We're definitely just going to wait on play our burn spells. We only have 6 points in our hand, and they're still at 14. Searing Blaze isn't bad. I mean, it's not great in this matchup, but it's fine. I mean, extra burn spells at this point are honestly what we want. Curly and her buddy Joseph went to this place called Freddy's here, and they got me ice cream. They were nice enough to grab me ice cream while they were out. So expressive iteration. Now that's interesting. That's a very interesting shadow card. Gurmag Angler hits the bin. Okay. So if our opponent manages to play their Gurmag Angler here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bolt our opponent, and then we're gonna cycle the land. We're gonna cycle the. Ooh, they don't play anything. We're gonna cycle. Another Searing Blaze isn't great, but it's okay. Probably some consideration to holding our land there, honestly. But we couldn't double spell if we held our land, so I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know. Kind of like whichever side of the sword you prefer to die on. I mean, Shadow Stub here would be pretty rough for us. So we're just going to go ahead and fire this off here. In response to their Inquisition, and let them have a Searing Blaze. Yep. So drawing the land wasn't terrible. The problem with drawing a land there is that now we don't have another spell to punish them with. They're really thinking about what they should be doing here. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the fact that they're playing Grixis Shadow with Expressive Iteration. It's a very interesting card. Okay. I mean, actually, it seems like not a bad card in this deck. Like, Watery Grave, okay. Well, maybe. I'm interested to see if our opponent goes to 5 here. Gurmag Angler, okay. Wonder if that means they have Stubborn Denial in their hand. Yep. So, I mean, we either have it here or we don't. Like, there's not much around it. The fact that they shocked signals to me that they have it, but yep. So we have to hit spell here. And a 1-drop, please. And an Eidolon. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, Skewer, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt. Like, there were quite a few things there that did it. Yep. That's a little disappointing, but that's okay. So, we're going to bring in Deflecting Palm. We're going to bring in Path to Exile. We're going to bring in Skullcrack. We're going to take out our Searing Blazes. They don't really do anything. We need to cut 2 more cards here. Not really sure what we want to cut here. Cut a Lava Spike, cut a Skewer. Try it like that. I don't know if that's correct or not, but... So, I mean, we only have 1 land, but I think with, you know... I think with 4 1-drops in our hand, I think we can chance this here. I mean, 4 1-drops in an Eidolon. Yeah, I think this is worth keeping. Our opponent's on 6 cards, which, I mean, isn't that bad. Snapcaster Mage, okay. Say go. Targets themselves. They want whatever's on top, okay. Drawing a land there is pretty good. We're just going to try and overload them with creatures here. And then we're going to slam the Eidolon next turn. Hitting the land was a very good draw step. Drown on the Lock. Okay, they don't want Drown on the Lock. That, or I guess they figure they're going to play a spell. They might as well fetch and try to get a land out of it. Yep, they're going to fetch and Fatal Push. It's a Death Shadow. I imagine they're pushing a Goblin Guide here. Interesting. Okay. I doubt they have Street Wraith in after sideboard, but even if they do, they're gonna have to do it twice here. So Lava Spike them to 9, attack for 5, put them to 4. So we're putting them within range of our Boros Charm next turn. Them not having a second land was pretty good for us. Yep. We just have the Boros Charm, so. I was like, I don't think this deck plays Force of Negation. I think it plays too many black cards, honestly, to play Force of Negation. So we have the Paths, we have the Palm, and we brought in the extra Skullcrack. Yeah, I think it's worth. I think it's as good as it gets. We just run it back here. Lost game 1 to Shadow off the back of a couple bad draw steps, and then we won game 2. So we're on the draw for game 3, which is the worst place to be, but. I was going to say it's possible that Lava Spike is better than Boros Charm. So we're on the draw, and this is one of those hands that can just kind of overload them with creatures again, and we have a path, so I think this is worth keeping. Plus, we're on the draw. We have a pretty good chance of hitting a land on the draw, but it is possible we just brick and don't have anything. They target themselves, okay. This is more than likely a removal spell, but we're going to play our Goblin Guide and make him use it. Stub, okay. Really need to hit a land next turn, honestly. The game's not like over or anything if we don't hit a land, but we need to hit a land. I think our opponent can't decide whether they're either thinking about whether they want to keep the Stubborn Denial or not, or they're thinking about whether the damage is worth it to them. So it wasn't the Stubborn Denial, it was the damage. They're doing the same thing they did earlier. Okay. That implies to me that they already have a stub, or they don't care. I'm not sure which it is, honestly. So not hitting a land there is a tough scene, but we're going to play our other Goblin Guide and just try to keep pushing in as much as we can here. Okay. 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 Fatal push 1, go to 15. Play Mizra's Bauble. Target me. Okay. Means they have no interest in seeing what their card is, if they want to fetch it away or not. Which means they already have a play in their head. They weren't considering waiting. So they already have a use for this land. And it might be to play Gurmag Angler right here. Maybe they're going to play Gurmag Shadow. 5, so they'd have to use all their mana to do that, but they could do that. There's a Shadow. There is a Gurmag. So they only have 3 cards left in their hand. 4 after the draw. Okay. So the odds of them having Street Wraith in are really low. So we can path the Gurmag Angler, attack for 2, and then skewer the Death Shadow. I think that's a pretty reasonable line of play here. Hitting a land there was very key. Now it's possible they have Death Shadow in, or not Death Shadow, the Street Wraith, but I doubt it. And I don't think they play Force, so I don't think there's really anything. Yeah, okay. So we've taken 2 of their threats off the field, so we're just kind of hoping that they don't have another one, honestly. And they do have 4 cards in their hand, so there's a good chance they have something to play, but Expressive Iteration gives them a lot of looks at cards here. I really like Expressive Iteration in their deck. Death Shadow enters the exile zone. Okay. So they had another Death Shadow anyway. Well, I guess they could have put one into their hand, so. So what's the best line of play here? I guess the best line of play is Swift Spears, suspend Rift Bolt. I don't know, this is tough. If there was any way we could kill one of the shadows, I would go for it, but it just not happening. They're not going to fetch. Okay, that's interesting. That means that they're really valuing where they're at on the scoreboard. So I think it definitely implies. Well, they could probably just wait and take a draw step, but if they shock right here, they definitely have TBR. That's not good. Yeah, they definitely have TBR. So the question is, do you not hold up Helix? I mean, I guess I could hold up Helix, but I can't kill anything regardless. So the only thing that kills me here is a bolt, other than TBR. And we're going to 1, so it's not like it matters. Yeah, there's no reason to block here. And if they get me with the bolt, they get me with the bolt. There's not much I can do about it. They have a fatal push and something in their hand. if they don't have a Stubborn Denial here or a Drown in the Lock, it's possible that they just... Oh my god, they forgot about the Rift Bolt and we won. Holy crap, what a... Wow, what a game. Man. Wow. All right. Well, that was a heck of a way to beat Grixis Shadow there. I mean, we were dead to the TBR and they actually just didn't have it. I mean, the way they were playing, I just kind of assumed that they had it. So, all right. Well, I mean, you take those kind of wins. It's not often that my opponent doesn't have TBR in that kind of spot. So, worked out pretty well for us there, honestly. I was hoping that the turn that we pathed the Gurmag Angler and we skewered the Death Shadow, that we were just going to kind of be able to take over the game a little bit. I mean, you know, Shadow only plays like 8 real threats in their deck. They play Shadow. This hand's really bad. We're going to mulligan. They play Shadow and then they play Gurmag Angler. And, you know, like our opponent keeps 7. This hand is a lot better. We're going to keep this and put a Wooded Foothills on the bottom. But, I mean, like, it's... Like, they play 8 real threats, because I don't consider Snapcaster Mage a real threat. Teleria West is... Sven? Sfeeder? Sven. It's an interesting name. Stomping Ground? Teleria West and Stomping Ground. This is interesting. Explore, so it's definitely Titan. Pick up your Stomping Ground? Pick up Teleria West, okay. So a 1-drop allows us to win the game off the top. Did that just say the field trip? Search your library for a basic forest card. Put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Learn. Okay. All right. So our opponent's at 14 here. Rift Bolt's 11. Lightning Helix is 8. And then a 1-drop is 5. And then we have, what do we cast? 3 spells. So 6 points. So any 1-drop that's like not Rift Bolt. Like Goblin Guide does it depending on what they play. I think Swiss Spear wins the game off the top. I think it's exactly what we need. Thanks, baby. Thanks for getting me ice cream when you went out. All right. So Rift Bolt you to 11. That puts you to 7. So Boros Charm puts you to 7, and then they take 5 and go to 2. So we're making it to where they can't shock if they have to. Oh. I feel bad about that. So it's a little conservative for how I normally play, but I think it's worth waiting. I think it's worth holding up the Skullcrack here just to see what they do. Because I don't think they can kill us from here. That is 6. Primeval Titan's pretty good. And depending on what they have, Skullcrack Skullcrack into Charm next turn just wins the game, so... This has been a very, like, unimpressive draw from our opponent here. Normally, like, Titan runs me over when I play it online, so... Pretty surprised, honestly. Okay, cards that are good here include Deflecting Palm, Path to Exile. There is maybe some consideration to bringing in the other Skullcrack. We'll put Skullcrack on the maybe list for now. This is a very unpopular opinion, but I really don't like Eidolon in this matchup. I get a lot of flack for that, honestly, but I'm really not an Eidolon fan when I'm playing this. And Searing Blaze is good, but it's one of the most underwhelming cards in the matchup, so I think it's okay to cut a Searing Blaze here. So we bring in a Deflecting Palm, a Skullcrack, and 3 Paths. Skullcrack, even if it doesn't prevent life gain because they get around us, it's still just 3 points. So, and everything else is a conditional 3 points, and honestly, Path to Exile is our best card in the matchup, so I think we just try it like that. If the 3-drop, if Dryad of the Elysiad Grove or whatever it's called, I think that's what it's called, Dryad, if that card was a 2-3, then we would leave in all of our Searing Blazes. So this hand is really good until they play an Arboreal Grazer on turn 1, and then we just kind of cry. But I think we're going to keep this. This is still a really good hand. We have a Skullcrack. Am I from North Carolina? No. Tennessee. Just a big UNC fan. I get asked that question a lot playing on Moto. I mean, to be fair, my username is TarHeels82, so... That's a pretty good start. Another Skullcrack's not bad. Valakut, okay. So they do get to draw an extra card, but 3 mana means they're gonna play something. Probably gonna play Dryad and then play another land, honestly. Oh, Field Trip. This Field Trip card is very interesting. Like, it seems like it fits kind of well into the deck, but it also allows them to... Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You gain 3 life. So it's good we have an extra Skullcrack here. Our entire hand plays at instant speed except for our Lava Spike, which will run out next turn. So I'm going to be honest, the sad part about this is that our draw might still just be too slow to beat up on Amulet Titan on a draw like this. But having the Skullcrack is solid. So we are going to Skullcrack. You may reveal a creature card. I mean, that's pretty good, honestly. Dryad is a good draw step. Is good off that card. I don't think they have a way to play... Yeah, I was like, I don't think they have a way to play Dryad from here. What, baby? So I should have played the Lava Spike there, but I was talking to Carly and clicked through the phase, my second main phase, like a twit. So, I mean, I guess it's not terrible to have Path up here because we know they're going to play the Dryad or some other creature that we need to kill. So, and I don't think it's terrible to have that. Amulet of Vigor is not good. Probably means we're dead. They played Valakut. Yeah, play Gruul Turf. They're bouncing Gruul Turf. Make red green. Untap it. Make red green. Oh, they bounced something else. I didn't see what they bounced. I think it was a forest. Ah, they're just gonna go for broke here. Okay. I mean, to be fair, when you're playing this deck, anytime you can put Primeval Titan on the field, I've heard that's a good idea. So they go to 8. Goblin Guy puts him to 6. Boros Charm and Lava Spike's lethal next turn. So they're just dead here. Well, I guess they're not technically dead. They're gonna get to make a bunch and play the Dryad. So we get to Path the Primeval Titan in response to the Dryad here. They pick up a Gruul Turf. Because that way they don't get any Valakut triggers off of it. So they cast Dryad. So any land after this is actually just Bolt. Yep, they're going after me or my Goblin Guide. They're going after Goblin Guide, okay. I mean, I guess they could have another Primeval Titan here. Which would be unfortunate, but is very possible. They have a Gruul Turf in their hand. I do appreciate our opponent saying that, honestly. Like it's kind of nice to hear them say that because I mean our opponent is playing a little slow, like not it's not super slow, but they are playing a little slow. So it's nice of our opponent to be like respectful of the fact that they are playing a little slow. So they do that for Summoner's Pact. 2, 4. If they cast Summoner's Pact here, they'll basically be forced to kill us this turn. Actually, they're not because of Obstinate Bailoff, but we're just going to Skullcrack them in response. So we're going to say go here, and, basically their entire turn is just offline because of Summoner's Pacts from there, so... I mean, they are, no exaggeration, using every land they have to do that, so... And we're at 17 just from the Sunbait Canyon and the fetch of the Bloodstained Mire, so they have to be able to deal us 17, and they have 6 on the board as 11, so they have to be able to bolt us 4 times. Wow, is that... Is that what they have? Not gonna lie, that's a little disappointing. Because this felt like a pretty locked up game for us, honestly. And then yeah, Gruul Turf is 2 more bolts. So they put us to 7. And then so basically we can Boros Charm them and then untap and hope we draw Boros Charm. I guess, or Lightning Helix does it to give us enough time to. So we Boros Charm them to 4. We can either hope to hit a 1-drop, we can hit Skewer, we can hit Lava Spike, or we can hit Lightning Bolt, or we can hit a. I mean, if they have Primeval Titan here, we're just dead. Bloodbraid Elf. Our opponent is playing Bloodbraid Elf in their deck. I did not realize that Valakut was playing Bloodbraid Elf. Okay. Path would be an out. Deflecting Palm would be an out. Skullcrack is not an out because we go to 6. We kill the Bloodbraid Elf, take 6. Or we. Yeah, that's our only play here. So yeah, we're just dead. That's unfortunate. The Bloodbraid Elf was icing on the cake there, and yeah, that sucks. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. I added Bloodbraid for funsies. Another mountain does it too, right? Yes, another mountain does it. A basic lamb would have done it. So we brought in our path and our deflecting palms. Again, we saw in that we saw that game why Searing Blaze isn't great in that kind of matchup. So I think we're just gonna run it back and just kind of hope that we get there. Honestly, this hand is very good. It's very explosive. Because we lead on Swiss Spear, and then we either have Bolt Skewer or we have Boros Charm the following turn. It kind of depends on what we draw and what everything looks like. Well, now we have Searing Blaze, which I wasn't expecting to really get to use this turn, if I'm being honest. It's only 2 Searing Blazes in the deck, so pretty good to have one against that Colony Garden. Next turn, we can have Goblin Guide and Skewer, if it works out. Plays Explorer, probably deciding, yeah, bounce Colony Garden back to your hand. At least I imagine that's what they're doing. Okay, so Goblin Guide. Bolt you to 11. Skewer you to 8. Take 5, go to 3. We have Boros Charm in our hand. So we've given ourselves the best chance to win on turn 4 right here. Our opponent doesn't have an amulet in play, so we know we're not dead. But there are multiple things they could have here to get them out of this. They could lead on the Gruul Turf. They could play Colony Garden, make a blocker, and then play Dryad for 3 mana, and then play Radiant Fountain to go back to 5, and then we're required to draw a burn spell because they have 2 blockers. So, I mean, they have outs here. Are you torching kids? Looks like you're torching kids. Obstinate Baloth is also another good one. So we need a burn spell. Skullcrack's a little late to the party there. And they Summoner's Pacted for it. I mean, which is fine because it does keep them from dying. But so we're gonna attack here because attacking. I haven't even looked to see what they've been hitting. Oh, they discarded the pack. They actually didn't. So they go to 6. And now we're just gonna hold Skullcrack here because they're forced to pay for Pact, and I don't really know what else they could do. So, but we're gonna play around it just to be safe. We play around anything crazy this turn, and we have 7 points in our hand. So, okay. Cully Garden is our only play this turn, then feels like we're in the driver's seat. Boros Charm you. Go to my turn. Doesn't matter what they discard, they're just dead here. Bolt you. I mean, those were pretty close games all the way around. I mean, except for that third game. I'm not gonna lie, we kind of just like trucked our opponent that third game. We went 1-drop into Searing Blaze your token, or we went Swift Spear, put you to 19, Searing Blaze your token to put you to 14, and then we had Goblin Guide into Bolt Skewer. Like that was a pretty solid game. Like I think the 3 Skullcracks in the main is actually pretty sweet. Normally I'm just like playing 2, so I think having the third is kind of nice. We haven't really brought in Rolling Vortex yet. Have you tried Bauble Burn? No, I haven't tried to play Bauble Burn yet. Actually, that might be something I try. I might try that one day. Try it one night and see what happens. I saw a guy. His name's GG for Goblin Guide. I don't know if you ever watched him, Joseph, but I was watching him play, and he was playing something similar to this. Like it was basically this list, except he was playing a Searing. This hand is phenomenal. Except the 4th card, the 15th card in his sideboard was a Searing Blood, not a Searing Blaze. We're gonna lead on Goblin Guide here. Luris either means Shadow. Well, let me rephrase it. More than likely means Shadow or Burn. I guess it could be like the Luris control deck. I watch him because he plays Burn, not because I agree with his decisions. Yeah, I kind of feel that way a little bit. Like sometimes he does stuff that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm going to be honest. I feel like I've been doing things since I started streaming that people don't agree with. So I don't know why, but I feel like I just naturally play worse when I'm streaming. And I don't know if it's like a lack of, like if it's my like lack of, I don't know. Like I just feel like I don't pay as much attention. Cling to Dust? I feel like that's got to be Shadow. That and Bobble. I mean, I didn't realize they were playing Cling to Dust, but that's interesting. So they like the card they saw. No, they did not like the card they saw. So we're setting up for a very explosive turn 3 here. So this is definitely the control deck. But yeah, he does play a lot of burn. I really like to watch his channel just because like he posts a lot of burn content that I enjoy. They can't counter this because they don't have. Put our opponent to 11. They also can't drown in the lock this if that's what they have, which is kind of nice, honestly. No, I can't pay 3. But we will go ahead and go upstairs, put you to 8, and then attack for 6, put you to 2. So, I mean, any burn spell, or them playing a creature wins the game for us here. All right, they just didn't have any way to beat our creatures. All right, cool. You take those. Okay, so against this Grixis, could be Grixis Croxa. I didn't realize that was a deck, but that is very possible. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that Rest in Peace is probably like Rest in Peace probably has some value here. But I think one Rest in Peace is it's like a Lure Spells deck. Okay, that sounds interesting. I think a one of Rest in Peace is better than the third Searing Blaze there. So we bring in a Rolling Vortex, a Skullcrack, and a Rest in Peace, and we just kind of hedge our bets against life gain and just try to get them. So it's like a Lurus Spells deck. It kind of sounds like something similar to like the Grixis Spells deck that we played in Pioneer, except they're not playing like Niv and like top end kind of stuff. Breeding Pool makes me think it's a Bring to Light deck. That's also very possible. It could be Bring to Light. Like yeah, like Bring to Light Tibalt, like stuff like that. So yeah, that's also very possible. Because we saw blue, black, green, right? Yeah, we just saw Sultai. That's all we saw. I mean, it could be Sultai Bring to Light. Eh, yeah, they'd be playing 5 colors if it was Bring to Light. Not to say they couldn't be playing more colors. We did just see like a couple turns there, but I mean, this hand's really good. We have Eidolon or Rest in Peace on turn 2, whichever feels better. Our opponent keeps 7. Island go. Okay. Lead on Lava Spike. Isn't there a Sultai BTL that's Scape Shift now? I'm going to be honest, I don't know what BTL stands for. Is that just like, did you shorthand Bring to Light? We're going to run out Eidolon here because we don't know what they're doing. And next turn we can play Swift Spear and Rest in Peace. So. Are you talking to me, baby? How many did you need? Okay. There's the Dryad Bring to Light pile, like Nivless Niv, but it can play Lurus. Alright. That's interesting. Reflecting Pool. Is this a... Yeah, that's what I thought this was. We're gonna run out Rest in Peace here. So they can't Archmage's Charm if they're trying to do something like that. Okay. Double Mana Leak. Hopefully they don't have a Fatal Push here. Alright, we put them to 15. From here, we're just looking at... They don't have a 4th land, which means it's all gas. Cast Boros Charm. And, you know, to our opponent here, this kind of signals that we're going to play Skewer. Because if we had Lava Spike, we would just play it and then hold up Boros Charm. What are they gusting? The Boros Charm? We'll put that on top. So we can attack for 2, and then we can play our Skewer the Critics here. We don't get a prowess trigger off of it, but it does work out like it's just a burn spell here. And so our opponent's at 10. Drowned Catacomb. Okay. So we're just going to get in. Our opponent could have a Cryptic Command here if they wanted to. They could have Archmage Charm. There's a lot of things our opponent could have here. Okay. So we have 10 points in our hand, but our opponent has 4 spells. They didn't play a land, and if they don't, they're just sandbagging a land for some reason, which, I mean, maybe they're trying to get in my head, but I'm just going to play my burn spells and make them counter them. Snapcaster Mage Mana Leak, if I had to guess here. Okay, no, we can't pay 3. We don't care about the... They have to have Force Negation here to stop this, and if they do, we're okay with that because they're getting rid of another card. It's like, and if they don't, we're just going to get in 7 points. And also, this is our best chance to... This is the biggest window we'll have to guarantee resolving our biggest burn spell, which is the last Boros Charm in our hand. And so now, basically, we have Lightning Helix, which is anytime. So... Okay, suspend Rift Bolt. That seems pretty good. So that means at the end of their turn, we can go Helix you, untap, we have Rift Bolt, and then we have whatever we draw. So they're forced to beat everything. All right, this is our opportunity. They're forced to have it here. All right, cool. Well, we got a quick win there. Our opponent just kind of like they didn't. So I don't know how that deck wins, but I think them getting stuck on lands might have hosed them a little bit, or maybe they just had no way to win the game from there. Like I don't know. Maybe they had a bunch of red cards in their hand they couldn't play, or maybe they had a bunch of green cards. I guess it's not Grixis. Well, at least we didn't see any red lands, so I don't know. But we're 3-0 so far. Pretty good start to the league. Hopefully, it doesn't like all fall apart at one time. Hi, and good luck. We don't have a creature, but this hand's really good. Our opponent's playing Luris. I guess they could be on the weird pile of cards that our opponent was just on. Or I think they're more than likely on Burn or Shadow. I think when you're playing Modern and you see Luris, the most common deck that comes to mind is Shadow. And that could just be something ingrained in my head. Like, it might not actually be Shadow, but that's just... When I see Luris, I think of Shadow. I think of, like, Goyfs and Shadows and stuff like that, so... Okay, Watery Grave. Oh, it's Mill. Okay. This is like a really weird dance here. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like unless they draw the 3 mana, instant speed, exile all creatures in graveyards, and gain life for each one, I feel like we just kind of win this matchup here. Surgical Extraction, okay. They play Field of Ruin, and our life total is not relevant, so we are going to fetch out a Sacred Foundry here. And we do have 12 points in our hand, just kind of depending on, you know, like they're at 10. We have Goblin God on the field and 12 points in our hand. So they actually don't have the surgical extraction because of the mesmeric orb. So we're gonna play this here. I don't. When I played. I played a league with Mill a couple weeks ago, and I don't think I was playing Snapcaster Mage, but they might be. Red white. Bolt you. There's only one creature in the yard, even if they do have it. So they're gonna play Vision of Beyond. Did they draw one card or three? Has 20 or more cards? That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. So I only got to draw one there. Ah, they milled their Crypt Incursion. Yeah, get that trash out of here. Ha 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 ha. Hedron Crab, okay. Let's hope we draw a land. Like to turn on Searing Blaze. Eh! Opponent, stop milling my lands when I need them. Land or burn spell. Land or burn spell. It's very possible they have Drown in the lock here. Now they're at 1, and Searing Blaze is always 1 point, so we're at 38. I don't think they're going to mill us out from here. There goes an Archive Trap. Fetch land. Eh. Eidolon would have been a pretty sweet draw. I mean, we have milled quite a few cards here, so it's not exactly like we're just playing for free or anything. They have 3 cards in their hand, so I'm pretty sure they only play 1 or 2 copies of Crypt Incursion in the main. So I'm hoping that we don't have to worry about playing around another one of those. Okay. So now we're going to attack. They're forced to block with their crab. They can't fetch, so. And they only get 3 cards here. And Swift Spear is lethal, so. Alright, cool. Crypt Incursion will be the hard one to beat. Alright. Does Rest in Peace actually matter enough in this matchup? We'll come back to that, because I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure. I know Rolling Vortex is great. Skullcrack is a great card. It sounds a little weird, but I honestly really like Searing Blazes in this matchup because we want to be able to Searing Blaze the crap out of that crab. And the list that I played a couple weeks ago was playing all 8 crabs, so I think we want to have that. And I think Rip shuts off their Drown in the locks, but I think that's if they aren't playing Snap. Okay. So let's bring in a Rest in Peace. And then we can cut the Boros Charms here. Or do we want to leave in... Do we want to leave in 3 Boros Charms and cut Lightning Helix because our life total doesn't matter in this matchup? And Boros Charms more damage? I think that makes more sense. So let's try it that way and see what happens. And I like having this one of Rest in Peace. Just to, you know, maybe we snipe their graveyard or something. So our opponent mulligans, and I think this hand is really good because we have a creature on turn 1, and we have a Searing Blaze to try and turn off something if they have one. One time playing this matchup, I once heard somebody say that maybe you should bring in, that I should consider bringing in a single Smash to Smithereens, because I could randomly snag orb. What? Each opponent mills 8 cards. If this spell was kicked, instead each opponent mills half their library rounded up. Alright, that's interesting. Yep. Mill us for a bunch. Goblin Guide, Boros Charm, Wooded Foothills. Probably going to fetch for a basic here. Land, Eidolon. Well, there goes our Vortex. So our life total is not relevant, and I don't think they would block here, but I'm definitely not giving them the opportunity. We won't get much of a better chance to play our Searing Blaze, so we're just going to go ahead and use it. So they have Crab and that 2 mana mill 8 card. Play Crab. Oh, no land. Interesting. I think we're just going to attack and get in what we can, and then we're going to suspend the Rift Bolts. So double Rift Bolt puts them to 6, Lava Spikes 3, Boros Charm is dead. So they have to have a counter spell to stop something. So that's where I'm most interested in doing something like that. And I don't think they really have a way to shut off, like how Teferi can shut off Rift Bolts. Like that is something that like sometimes I worry about when I see like blue and white on the other side of the table. So they have to have a counterspell here, and it's very possible they do. But the good news is that them having a counterspell them having a counterspell means they can't play their Fatal Push. So good with the bad if they do have a counterspell. All right. Rift Bolt you to 5. So we have 7 points of instant speed interaction. So we're just going to attack here and then see what they do. I mean, I think we can just go for it. Like, I don't think they play Spell Pierce in their deck, but if they do, they get us with the Spell Pierce here. So, alright, they concede. Well, I personally think Mill is a pretty good matchup. They can't win as fast as we can. And, normally Searing Blaze takes off their plan a little bit, so we were lucky enough that their Orb milled their Crypt Incursion game 1, so that was pretty good. We're 4-0 to start the Burn League here. I feel like the split of the 3 Searing Blazes, the 3 Lightning Helixes, and the 3 Skullcracks is really playing well. I was a little skeptical about that at first, I won't lie, because I really like to have 4 Lightning Helix in the main, but it actually seems to be playing pretty well. And our one of cards in the sideboard are really playing pretty well too, honestly. This is generally what I would consider a very non-traditional burn sideboard. Like playing 4 one-ofs is not very common for me, but it's really working out. Also, for anybody that missed it, this is GG for Goblin Guide's list. The only thing I changed was I took out a Searing Blood and put in a Searing Blaze in the sideboard. If you like good burn content, you should check him out. I watch him a lot. I really like to watch him play. Like he seems very well very well versed with burn, and he really he puts up a lot of good content in my opinion. So hopefully we can find a 5th match soon here. It's been a while since we've trophied. I think I've trophied once since I started streaming, like in January. So it's been a hot minute since I've trophied. So I'm not gonna lie, I'd kind of like to get to 5-0 It'd feel it'd feel pretty clean to get a 5-0 with Burn tonight, honestly. Of course, it's not gonna matter if we can't find a fifth game. What you doing, Taryn? What you doing, sweet kitty? Well, this is the longest it's taken to find a game all night. The fact that foils exist online is stupid. It is a little ridiculous, honestly. Like, I mean, I think there's two trains of thought. The first one is that people that play online like to have foils also. Like, if that's all they do is play online, so I don't think they should be punished for only playing online. But the other train of thought is that WotC just likes to make money. So, and I feel like that's a much worse way to look at it. But so this hand has a lot of potential, and we're playing against a Yorion deck, so we want to keep as many spells as possible. So we're gonna keep this and hope it pans out, because our Rift Bolt plays really well with the skewers, and our opponent mulligans to 6. Them playing Yorion more than likely means that our life total doesn't matter. I could be horribly wrong about that. I don't know a lot about Yorion decks in this format, so they're probably playing like Path and some other stuff. Ether Vial. That is super interesting. Well, we're going to put them to 16. The fact that our opponent's playing Ether Vial is very kind of worrisome to me, for being honest. Thalia's a good draw. Like, Thalia's good for them. So we get to do that and pay 1. Trigger Prowess. Hopefully we get a land here. Not hitting a land is kind of rough there, but it's okay. Our opponent's at 13, and we have 18 points in our hand, so... Is this Thalia number 2? No, it's Ether Vial. So we can attack, see what our opponent does if they vial in something. I'm going to go ahead and bolt here in case it's a Thalia. I really just don't want to get blown out by a Thalia, if I'm being honest. Because if it's Thalia, they just get the block for free and there's nothing we can do. But Leonin Arbiter is fine. They go to 8. Is this like red-white taxes? That's what it feels like our opponent's playing, but it's hard to tell. Eidolon's not very good. And I can't even search. I mean, that's just 1 mana, destroy my creature. Like, exile my creature, which is really good. Eidolon's not even great in this spot. Oh my gosh. What are they vialing in? Okay, Elite Spellbinder actually seems pretty sweet in this kind of deck. Doesn't really matter what they take, I can't play anything. We've not hit a second land in 12 cards, which is a little unfortunate and kind of unlikely statistically, but game's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Our opponent can... I mean, we have a Lightning Helix and our opponent's at 8. Like, it is very possible that we get out of this. We just need to not draw a fetch land. Fetch land would be bad. Oh, that's tough. So I'm not gonna lie, I actually think that kind of locks this one up. Because even if we draw a non-fetch land here, yeah, all right, that's unfortunate. How many cards still a land? No, that's unfortunate, but it's okay. So these kinds of matchups are always weird. We want Searing Blaze and we want Path because they're either playing Core Firewalker or they're playing Auriok Champion in their sideboard. Some small part of me likes to bring in Smash in these matchups just to hedge my bets, but Smash in this matchup is either a 10 or like a 1. Like there is nothing else. So, and I think we can bring in our other Skullcrack. We can cut our Boros Charms here. All right. Come on, Moto. Let me get a hold of what I'm trying to do. And then I guess the last card that we want to cut here is a Skewer the Critics, just because it... Well, we probably want to cut Lava Spike because it doesn't target. I think we can try it like this and see what happens. Skewer is bad sometimes because it doesn't get turned on by Spectacle very easily. We're playing against these kind of strategies. So this is the same problem we had last time. But again, I think this hand is really good, so I think we're going to keep it and hope it works out. Gonna be honest, this is one of those times when I watch this and I think, you know, like when I'm playing these games, I'm thinking a more disciplined player might mulligan here just because the downside might outweigh the upside. Like if we hit a land, I think it's kind of tough for us to lose. But drawing another Searing Blaze is exactly what we didn't want to see, and that's why I made the comment that a more disciplined player might actually mulligan this hand. There's Auriok Champion. We don't have a path or anything, so that's kind of tough. Gonna be honest, I don't think it's worth it. I think we're just gonna say go here. Do not think Auriok Champion is worth it. Decks like this always play Burrington Forge Tender, and Auriok Champion or Core Firewalker, which I always think is really interesting because I'm like, why are you playing both in this spot? I don't feel like these kind of decks need both, but it's possible. So the worst part here is that even if we do draw a land for our Searing Blaze, they get to just sack this and prevent the damage to Stoneforge Mystic and that, which means there's no way we're getting out of this, I feel like. Because it prevents all the damage. Yep. Which is very unfortunate. Looks like we're gonna finish 4-1 this league instead of 5-0. Maybe a couple of more disciplined mulligans help with that, but so they're gonna put Batterskull into play, and there's no way for us to deal with it. So it's a little early, but I'm just gonna concede here. I don't really see us winning that game, but 4-1 is not a bad league by any means. I said this multiple times this league, but the 3 Searing Blaze, 3 Lightning Helix, and 3 Skullcrack split worked really well. And again, I was kind of surprised by that. That's very 4-1 draws mono white screw burn. Yeah, pretty much. But I mean that's okay. We had some softballs that league ourselves, so can't really complain about playing against like Death and Taxes with burn. I really like the 3/3/3 in the main deck, and then I really like the one-ofs in the sideboard, which I've never played burn like that before ever. Like it's just very unorthodox, but it is really good. So hear me out here. All right, I'm gonna hear you out. Normally when you say that, you say something completely ridiculous that I'm never gonna do. Rakdos Prowess? Okay, I'm down for that. What do you have in mind? But Hazaret instead of Bedlam. Okay. I mean, all right. I'd be willing to try something like that. That sounds cool. I love Hazaret. I like Prowess. I like Rakdos. I like all the things you're saying so far. Put together a list. Put together something that you think would be pretty cool, and let's try it. I'd be interested to try something like that. But yeah, The Boros deck was really sweet tonight. I really liked it. But that's it for Magic. If you come by and hung out for Magic, I really appreciate it. We're gonna be playing some Rocket League here in a few minutes. We haven't really played a lot of Rocket League, and so we're gonna try and grind some games out of Rocket League tonight. If you were here for Magic, I appreciate you stopping by, and if you like Rocket League, hang out. I'll be back in a couple minutes.